So thank you, Rita, for joining in this conversation here at Beyond Expo. Can you tell me a little bit about SHERO? I mean, what are the kind of initiatives that you're working on, and what is the kind of work that you do with women in the workforce here in this region?
So as you can see here, this time we are organized the SheTech Summit here in Beyond Expo. So the kind of purpose we organize this is we try to really promote female entrepreneurship, especially in this AI era. So we all know AI is kind of, rapidly change everyone's life, change our organization. And so we want to provide a different perspective. We can not only see how AI change our life or improve our efficiency or help more, like giant company to make more money. We need to think about, can we use AI technology for good or not? So we think about this kind of topic is very unique here in the Beyond Expo. So this is something that we think SHERO organize this SheTech Summit can really bring in the different aspects to this global impact Beyond Expo.
Right. So with technology, I mean, it enabled more women to come out and become entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of homegrown businesses came in. So now with AI, what do you think? I mean, what's the understanding among women, or what is the buzz in terms of, are women more, curious to understand what's going to happen with AI and experimenting with new businesses, or how is it?
No, AI is a big topic to the Beyond as well. And you can see across all those panels, most of the speakers are male speakers. So you can see in this tech world still male dominate this AI era.
So why don't you work with Beyond Expo organizers to ensure that every panel does not become a manel, but there are women speakers also?
Of course, I kind of tell the Dr. Lu Gang sometimes, from time to time, I say we need to have more female participants and for more female speakers to coming in. But you still can see the reality, still the male speakers, male founders dominate this new technology so far. So I kind of think that, okay, we should bring in 100% female speaker here in this SheTech Summit in Beyond Expo. So that's a very interesting perspective. Everyone can talk freely from the female perspective, female founder, female, leaders, what's their perspective, what kind of perspective is different from the male, speakers. So that's something that brings the kind of angle we want to bring into this Beyond Expo. And as for your question, you say that is female more curious about AI? I think AI nowadays impact everyone. I think regardless any gender and regardless, your background, your age, everyone impacted by AI.
Right. So outside of this event, Beyond Expo, what are the activities that SHERO does?
SHERO, we founded it 4 years ago. We just celebrated our 4 years anniversary back to April. Okay. So what we wanted to do is, first, as I mentioned, we want to support female entrepreneurs. We want to encourage more female to participate in this future diverse world. Okay, this is the kind of first angle we wanted to address. So we organize a lot of events around this kind of topic. Okay, and the second one is that we wanted to encourage more sustainable business that can really generate money, but at the same time, they care about a lot of for good kind of aspects. So that's why we encourage more, startup or more people to address this issue for sustainability. That's also a kind of topic that SHERO care about. So we also organize a lot of, events around this sustainability.
Right. So SHERO was formed where, in Hong Kong, or where is it?
Most of people are in Shenzhen and Guangzhou. So in the Great Bay Area, of course, we have members from Hong Kong and Shanghai, Beijing, etc. Even in overseas. So we have a lot of different people from different country and different kind of cities around the world.
So outside of entrepreneurship, do you also work with large organizations where the female workforce is much bigger as SHERO?
Not really female focused organization we work with. We basically this year we work with we organize a forum for APEC. Also, we lead a team to discuss sustainable oceans in Osaka, Japan, in this the event in Osaka last summer.
Oh, the World Expo.
World Expo.
Okay.
Osaka. So we lead a team to discuss sustainability in Osaka last summer. So that's a kind of big organization we work with. We try to bring in more impact to to voice out this kind of voice, like Beyond is as well. We want to work with Beyond Export to actually bring in more people to care about the kind of topic, as I mentioned, female entrepreneurship and sustainability. So that's kind of the major two things we really wanted to emphasize and try to bring in more speakers and try to make more impact and try to raise more awareness among people.
Right. So when you say female entrepreneurship, do you work with girls at the university level, or are you working there to basically, instill in them that sense of entrepreneurship to go out and take up challenges? Is that something do you do?
That's something we will do, as some of the university already talked to us, that we try to work together to encourage more, female students to think about they may have, they still can make more impact by starting their own companies. Okay, that's something we probably will do in the future. But in the past, the kind of entrepreneurship related activities we did is like organize more like pitch event, demo date, and also we gather together a group of people, try to have more like sharing how to do this successful startup, etc. And the key organization we work with is Shenzhen Academic, the kind of academic team that we think that's very important. They bring in a lot of like really good young entrepreneur, and we told them that among them we wanted to help more, especially help more female entrepreneurs. So this is something that we try to do in the past.
So these events that you mentioned, these are purely focused on female entrepreneurs, the startup events?
Purely female entrepreneur.
Because, some of the feedback that I have seen from, not essentially this region, but other countries in Asia Pacific also, that when they do organize startup competitions, the female teams are far and few. It's completely dominated. Even places like Japan and all.
You're right. I think 4 years ago when we really started this SHERO thing, and we try to recruit some of the female entrepreneurs, and myself and the team try to call them and say that you wanted to come our event and to share your story, to do some demo or do the pitch. We need to invite one by one. But now 4 years later, we see more and more female. They know SHERO. They say, okay, I want to join in. I want to come here to share my story. I want to share with other people. So that's something I think changing. So I'm really optimistic about this. I think in the coming future, more and more people, more and more, the female entrepreneur will show up and then really want to share, because they know how painful they are start a company. So they want to, if they are successful, they want to share their success with, other people. So I think that's the kind of things that we really want to encourage in our SHERO group.
One of the most common complaint among female founders globally is that not much of investment funding is available to female founders. So are you working in that area? Are you working with any investment companies or investors to ensure that, the female founders that you are working with or entrepreneurs, they have access to funding?
You have a really key, topic on this because, female entrepreneurs, especially in the tech field, are less likely to get funding, right? We all know that. Okay. So we can not actually persuade the venture capitalists, like myself is also a venture capitalist, to say, okay, you should allocate a percentage of the share to invest female project. That's cannot do, I think. We invite some of the organization to talk about this topic before, because there's a worldwide organization to encourage people to try to put this percentage into their investment guidance. But from my personal experience, I think that's very difficult, because at the end of the day, every investor needs to be responsible for limited partner, right? Investor themselves. So I think that's very critical. They wanted to pick up the fast case they could get. Okay, so I think like for your question, we cannot as responsible to do so. But what we can do is try to encourage more female entrepreneurs to do the stuff. Because it increase the number of the people, the talent to come in. They have more interesting lights. They can probably find the best one among them. But if so few people wanted to restart, they even cannot find one. If they make this kind of certain percentage that how much money they wanted to invest in the female project, I think this really cannot do. They probably fail their investment, the progress.
But in most fields or areas where historically, certain sections of the population have not got the same level of advantage, there are initiatives which happen, right? Like if you look at the United States, certain communities, African Americans, they get preference, and there are other countries as well. So I don't know, how do you ensure why everything else being safe, right? Nobody is asking investors to downgrade their criteria, but at least some level of commitment that certain percentage can go into, because when you talk of impact and sustainability, how do you ensure that female founders get funding? And if many of them don't get, then how do you create role models? Because at the end of the day, by getting so many startups is okay, but for youngsters, they need role models. Right?
Yeah. As I mentioned that 3 years ago, we organized an online for the 3 big one. It's called gender-lens investing. Okay, so investing through gender. So this is a really kind of first one here in China, I think. So attract a lot of people to come. And one of the speakers, as I mentioned, is from this global investor organization, which try to promote people to know where to set the standard that how much percentage that you should put on female, entrepreneur. So I think that the more realistic one that, as I see at that time, is that we can put some certain numbers to really guide the investment, but we cannot just put the entrepreneur per se. We need to put the kind of percentage of this, founders, co-founders, and high-level management, C-level management. Probably this is what Elliot was. This is first step. So we start box awareness to set this broader goal, and the goal you mentioned, we probably want to put the big number on the first entrepreneur of a certain startup. I think probably 3 years or 5 years status maybe something we're coming up, but probably not in this.
What is the response to the senior male executives to this whole initiative? Do you engage with the so-called male allies as you try to encourage more women to participate?
Yeah, you mentioned a very good question. So initially, SHERO, the SheHero, we want to have 4 SheHero in the future, right? But suddenly we find out, no, we cannot just call SheHero. We need to call superhero. We need to let our brand become superhero. We need to invite more guys to join this SHERO group, because I think not only female should grow up, men should put more awareness on this kind of same topic. So that's why we kind of, in the very beginning, we try to intentionally invite more guys to join in this group. So now over 25% of all members are actually male. Yeah, so I think that's probably the, we sometimes call, we probably have one, in terms of percentage, we probably the highest, highest percentage of guys in one of the female organization. Yeah, probably is that kind of face.
Wonderful. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Okay. And all the best, you and Ashwin. So here.